That's what people don't get. The willingness to sometimes look stupid and do it anyway.
The email list investor.
Alex S. Elliot.
What was the misconception you had on the email copy side of it?
We come in as a revenue generator, not as a cost center. So you're not like, man, I have to pay my email guys. You're like, my email dudes just made me $120K a month. I'm thrilled to throw them a percentage.
You have to believe in your craft so much that you don't go underpaid.
Yep. If you have a proven track record of performance, then if you charge premium prices, you can actually over-deliver a premium service.
What are the ways to maximize email deliverability?
Number one, you need to be monitoring your domain health. Number two, monitor where the emails are landing. We had one guy come to us, he was losing $3,797 a day because when we fixed it over a month, that was the average daily revenue. So it can be a substantial amount of money.
So please welcome Alex Elliot on our show today. Hey, Alex.
What's going on, buddy? It's been 4 whole years since we did a show together.
Yeah.
And I had like the distinct honor of being your very first guest 4 years ago, almost to the day 4 years ago. We were actually talking about this offline about how it's been 4 years and such a intense, packed 4 years for both of us. And you were telling me about how that very first episode, you were all cramped in this little room and like you were, trying to set up your laptop to get the angle right. And, when I think about just what you overcame, just to even start the podcast, but like to continue, right? Just to have that consistency and where you are now and the caliber of guests you've interviewed in the interim, just bravo, my friend, bravo. It's very exciting.
Truly appreciate it and really appreciate for you to be the part of that journey. And the people who don't know about that is like I was interviewing Alex Elliot like almost like exact same time, September 4 years ago, and like she had her launch, and we're going to talk about like her journey, like how she started, but she had her launch. And then like I was planning to like interview her on sort of my Facebook Live, stuff like that. I didn't knew about any of the tech. Right now we are doing it on Zoom, and 4 years ago we were doing it on Zoom, but from Alex's account because I didn't know how to use it properly. So like I was figuring out like how to do it without having any camera, any mic, any proper lighting. It was 4 a.m. Just woke up for doing the interview, like put the laptop on my lap above the pillow, like because I just had to have a good angle and just had to do it.
Champ. You're a champ, dude. You did it anyway. And that's the thing that matters. Like that's what people don't get. It's not about the mic. It's not about the lighting. It's not about the angle. Like, do those things matter? Sure, at some point. But it's about the willingness to sometimes look stupid and do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's just the willingness to do it, right? And to get over ourselves. And so I'm excited. And you are now seeing the fruit of that, right? The fruit of that commitment.
Absolutely.
So really powerful stuff.
Truly appreciate it. Well, the people who actually didn't follow your journey like through, like, could you like walk us back through it, like how you stumbled upon affiliate marketing in the first place, like how you got into it, how you actually got, in the top 10 ranks in the One Funnel Away Challenge launch, and like moving forward from there. Like, can you like walk us through a little bit of it?
So I have been trying, I like to say like, if anybody, complains, oh, I've been trying to make money for a long time. I'm like, probably not longer than me. I literally, when I look back, I do believe it was about, I'm gonna say 17 years ago that I started like trying to make money online, right? I started that journey. And as we all do, right, we've got just a slew of failures behind us. And those failures are really important. Actually, they're really critical in our journey, in our learning, because, if you're smart about it, you take the lessons that you've learned from every failure and you kind of pack them in your little backpack and you bring them with you, right? And so you learn things like copywriting, you learn things like, marketing, you learn things like, DM sales, you learn, all these different skill sets that you can then apply, in your next iteration, in your next, whatever it is, right? And so I started actually, I stumbled into affiliate marketing the first time around in 2013. I launched an affiliate marketing blog, right? And so I was like reviewing, I was doing like the old SEO game, and I was like reviewing software on an affiliate marketing blog. And here's an odd little factoid. I still receive commissions from blog posts that I did on software way back in 2013. Like that's the power of promoting recurring commission programs, guys.
A decade ago.
10 years 10
Yeah.
years later, I'm still earning commission on stuff that I promoted 10 years ago. I wrote one stinking blog article about Aweber, and like I'm still making Aweber commissions from that time. And you know, if you're in the affiliate marketing space, which I am not really any longer, but if you are, finding business software that people have to build their businesses on top of, i.e., you know, funnel builders, email marketing software, CRMs, you know, sales pipelines, things like that. Those are really hard to switch once you're really integrated. Like once you're in, you're in. They've got you like life. It's like the mafia, which is why I'm still getting commission on people's, you know, years and years later. So, you know, when you're promoting products like that, it's great because there's so much longevity to that. So that was my first go around with affiliate marketing. And, you know, it was nice, but like, I don't know, the $400 or $500 I was earning a month from it, like wasn't going to make me a bajillionaire. So I kind of kept failing forward and figuring things out, et cetera. Fast forward to 2019. And I came across the One Funnel Away challenge, right? From ClickFunnels. And I see you've got your One Funnel Away challenge box there behind you. And I just dove in with both feet. I was so enamored with the process. So, you know, I don't know what it was, but it really lit me up. And there were people in that journey that were super inspiring for me. You know, like Doug Boughton, super inspiring. You know, he was going through it at a similar time, or had gone through it, I think, a few months earlier than I. And I was watching the success he was having. And so I began to model some of the things he was doing. And, you know, like Tony Robbins says, like success leaves clues, you know, you model those who've gone before you. And so I started to do that and began just really like serving my heart out. I would go live every single day. I called it my Live at 5, and I would go every single day live after, you know, the One Funnel Way. We'd watch all the trainings from Russell and Steve Larson and Julie Stoyan or whatever. It would like, that was the crew at the time. And, you know, I would then synthesize those trainings sort of into my own perspective and my own thoughts. And I would give some thoughts about that. And I would do a little presentation at 5 p.m. every day with my thoughts, a little recap, like what was most impactful for me. And I would talk about how I was going to implement it in my business. And for one reason or another, it really resonated with folks. And I just had just dozens and dozens and dozens of OFA members, One Funnel Away members, joining my group. So they'd already paid, and they weren't paying me anything. They were just there, you know, to kind of have an extra little handhold and learning. And I decided midway through that thing, I was going to take it again. I was like, this was so good the first time. I'm going to do it again because there's so much more to learn. There's so much deeper to go on this. And there's so many other types of funnels to build and blah, blah, blah. So I put together an offer for anybody who wanted to continue that journey with me. To purchase OFA through my link. I would give them, you know, funnels that I was building, like affiliate share funnels. I would support them. I'd give them coaching, blah, 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 all this different stuff. I'd give them like email swipes and things. And it just sort of took off. And I mean, it was a massive snowball. Like my very first month promoting OFA, I believe I hit 11,000 in commission. And I had RJ, when I tell you, like prior to that period, I had never made that kind of money in a month, never. And I was like, what is this? I was like completely blown away, right? And that was just the beginning, you know, of like really expanding my consciousness and expanding my personal abundance container, my ability to hold that kind of money, because you can really only keep what you can hold. And so you have to learn how to hold larger and larger amounts, or else you won't keep it, right? You may earn it, but you won't keep it. So that was really the beginning of me kind of expanding my ability to accept a lot of money in my life. And from there, like you said, later in September, because I was having such success with the Facebook groups model, and the group was growing so wildly. I think we grew like, I don't know, I may get this wrong, but 2,000 to 5,000, somewhere between 2,000 to 5,000 members. Like in like 90 days, it was crazy. We just blew up. And so I really started to like, because everybody kept asking me, how you growing a group? How you growing a group? And I'm like, I don't really know. We're just doing a lot of stuff. So like, I hadn't really codified that knowledge. And I got the question enough that I thought I should probably codify my knowledge. So I went out and I bought all the groups programs. You know, Andrew Cruzy had a great program. There were some other folks, and I'm going to forget who they are, but I really began to codify my knowledge around that. And I started to see, oh, that's weird. The thing he's teaching, I'm actually doing it, but I'm doing it slightly differently. Or that thing she said to do, I'm actually doing it, but I'm doing it with like this little twist. So I was doing a lot of these things already. I just wasn't conscious of I hadn't kind of formulated it. So I took all of that information. I took what I was already doing that was working, and I put something new together, and we launched the One Group Away Challenge, right? And that was my homage to my start with the One Funnel Away Challenge. And it was an extraordinary launch, it was a $100 product. I kind of had a tiered pricing. So one could, we broke it up into 3 parts. It was OGA 1, OGA 2, OGA 3. You could get each individual part for $100, or the whole thing for whatever, $297, whatever it was. I don't remember exactly how we broke it up, but for a low to mid tier or mid ticket product, within a week, we'd done 6 figures. And I was like, what? Again, I had to expand my ability to even understand that number, because that was just new for me at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was really powerful. And then, we kind of ran through that for a while. And then I wanted to get into high ticket, and really dove into some high ticket masterminds myself. I started spending, $60,000 a pop and joining these masterminds and really learning what they were doing, et cetera. And then we launched, Mario and I launched our, high ticket offer accelerator. And that was my first experience selling high ticket. That was a 10K product. And we did one, I want to say, sorry, I'm trying to think, like, because there was this evolution. So what OGA, that was my bad. I misspoke earlier. OGA was 100K in a month. High ticket offer accelerator, we did 100K in a week. And so it just kept like compressing time. And it reminds me of that Decades and Days book you've got behind your shoulder there, that really, once you figure out like that making money is easy, and once you like get out of your own way about a lot of things about money, you really can begin to compress the time frame in which you make large amounts of money that you never thought were possible before.
Yeah.
Right? Never. Because I don't come from, right? I don't come from any of that. And when I told my mother these things, she was like, are you selling drugs? Like, what are you doing? She could not even. And that was the paradigm, right? You must be doing something wrong if you're making all this money. And so I had to do a lot of like clearing of old negative belief, patterns and things in my own life, again, before I could hold on to that kind of thing. So just an interesting journey. And then, fast forward from that, we, did that for a while, and also ran an education company kind of after that. And it was helping people understand, people who had never been exposed to cryptocurrency in their life, helping them safely learn how to engage with the cryptocurrency space, learn how not to get scammed, learn how to evaluate a project, based on clear fundamentals, things like that. And it was just a membership, I think it was $100 a month or something, just a membership. And I shared that membership with somebody else. And about February of 2020, sold my half of that membership to some students in the group stepped up, and they had really come a long way learning, and they wanted to kind of take that mantle. So that partnership piece was given to them, and they ran with that. And I took 18 months off. Completely. It was sort of like a mental health break, spirituality break. What do I want to be when I grow up break? I had been going really hard since February of 2019. So it was February 2019 till 2022 or 2022, 2021, whatever it was, that we left. And what was it, 2021 or 2022? I'm asking my wife. I have no idea that we left. 22. Got it. There you go. It was 22. See, time is just so. And we took a lot of downtime. I quieted everything. I literally
like a monk mode.
Dude, monk mode, full monk mode. It was glorious. I deleted my Facebook account, deleted Instagram, deleted like everything, gone, poof. I didn't even care. Like, I just was like done. And it was the most, I joked with a friend yesterday. I was like, I torpedoed my income completely, but it was actually liberating and wonderful, because once you have made money, you're not afraid that you can't make it again, right? You know,
Yeah,
you have this, right?
so true.
So yeah, the fear isn't there anymore. You're like, I need something more than money right now. I need peace. I need quiet. I need serenity. I need reflection. I need, all of that. So, did a lot of traveling, both externally and internally, and a lot of inner work, and realized that I really loved copy,
Mm,
particularly email. Why email? Because email is this wonderful one-to-one intimate communication that can happen at scale. It's not one-to-many. A lot of people treat it like one-to-many, which is a huge missed opportunity. It is a one-to-one communication that can happen at scale. And that, when done right, can feel very intimate and can effectuate results that can really only happen kind of in this one-to-one medium.
yeah.
And so I just really deeply fell in love with email, and I probably joined 6 or 7 different email coaching programs, spent way too much money, and learned all the things, and then started practicing, on my own lists and things like that, and cutting my teeth and
Yeah.
making all my mistakes on my own dime and on my own time with my lists, and then decided, okay, I've learned a few things, I'm able to get results for clients, and then we started to open that up to other clients. So here we are, 6 or some months later, and finally, got the nerve to come back to Facebook and social media, and it's been a really warm welcome ever since. So
Yeah,
it's been
yeah.
good.
Wow, like what a journey is, especially like when you're talking about like how long you've been attempting to first of all like make a substantial, income or a consistent income, like almost a decade, and then some things were still there as part of like, I would say like a passive income because it was kind of like recurring and you're not actively working on that. And like making these like transitions when needed for you, right? Like you were doing affiliate marketing, you transitioned from like teaching what you became really good at, like Facebook groups, then you transitioned into another thing and did it like successfully, and now you transitioned into the copy side of it, especially like on the email copy side of it. So my follow-up question around that is like, what was the first misconception that actually broken for you when you actually got into the copy side of it? What was the misconception you had? You were like, that's exactly not the thing.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, okay. Like kill some sacred cows here. But so I think that I originally thought that, like, oh, it's going to be really cool to manage several clients' email lists, right? Kind of the way, I've been managing my own email list for the last year or two or whatever. And I really thought, oh, this is going to be great. I can manage a couple of clients' emails list. This is going to be awesome, yada, yada, yada. While I have learned a tremendous amount managing email lists, it is not like I thought. And I think that I can tell you, not I think, we are actually in the process of, we do not accept retainer clients anymore. We are not accepting email list management clients or retainer clients. We've really just made the decision we're going to work on a performance basis. I'll tell you why. Because I know my copy works. And so it's rough to be capped at a retainer and then see your copy go on and make someone a tremendous amount of money and you have no access to that upside, right? Remember, I'm an old offer owner. I know what offers can do. I know what my copy's capable of. So, we are reimagining, or have reimagined, that relationship. And so really coming in, and in your intro of me, I call myself an email list investor. And so we've reimagined that relationship where we come in and we will completely self-fund, self-manage a complete, sales campaign
Yep.
to what we like to call the redheaded stepchild segment of your email list. And what's that? Well, basically, if you've got a low ticket, a segment of low ticket buyers, right? They came in through a book funnel, they came in through a challenge funnel, they came in through a boot camp, whatever it is, right? They came in and they're a verified buyer, like they bought something, but it's low ticket. And they've come through your entire sales process. They watched the webinar, they attended the challenge, they got on a call with your sales team, whatever it is. but they didn't convert, right? So now they're just sitting there. Like oftentimes what ends up happening, 9 out of 10, 9.999 out of 10 offer owners, they'll have those people, they'll put them into like a little 14-day follow-up segment just to like, or like automation to see if they can pull anything out of them. And then like nothing. And then nothing. They just get dumped back into the general list and like they just get the general list, whatever. So what we do is we come in and we identify that little redheaded stepchild segment of the list that are known buyers, but they're being ignored currently, right? And we will self-fund and self-manage a very extensive outreach campaign to these people. And we, you know, our goals are very simple. We want to make the offer owner look like a freaking hero to their tribe. We don't want to step on any of their current, like we don't want to get in the way of any of their current sales process. So if somebody's going through your current sales process, we don't talk to them. We don't make your sales guys mad. We don't get, you know, we don't step on their toes. And
exactly.
we don't get involved in current, like we don't cut into current margins. So anything we do is simply found money that's sitting there in the list, not being maximized. And so we're only paid a percentage of the money we find you after it hits your bank account, right? That's it. So we come in as a revenue generator, not as a cost center anymore. So you're not like, man, I have to pay my email guys $5K a month. No, you're like, my email dudes just made me $120K a month. I'm thrilled to throw them a percentage, right?
Yeah.
It's a much different relationship. And for them and for us, right? There's enough upside that really incentivizes us to go hard and do a great job. And they're thrilled because they weren't doing anything with this segment of the list. They kind of didn't really know what to do, right? And it's typical for list owners. They tend to focus on the sexy front end while the unsexy back end gets ignored. But actually the unsexy back end is where all the money is. And so it's a neat thing to be able to come in and maximize that for people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like that's pretty interesting, especially the way that you actually mentioned that, first of all, it takes a lot of work first of all to put in. A lot of people think it's just sending email. Actually, that's not it, because those are actually real people who are actually receiving it on the other side. So when you think about it, the perceptions start to change. But the other thing is, I think that's so important for every person who is trying to be better in their field, is like, you have to believe in your craft so much that, you know, you don't go underpaid or like you're over delivering on the other side of it. Correct?
Yeah. 100%, 100%. I mean, if you know that you have a great skill set, if you have a track record, a proven track record of performance, then you're actually doing yourself a disservice. You're doing your clients a disservice, right? You're not living up to that full potential. I mean, Alex Hormozy talks about this a lot, where he's like, listen, if you charge premium prices, you can actually over deliver a premium service, right? It gives you that buffer, that margin to be able to do that. When you're charging less than you're worth, then you're only giving very little, right? Because you can't, you got to pack more clients in, right? To make what you need to make. So there is a tremendous value in understanding the value you bring, not overcharging, but looking for relationships that provide just exponentially more value to both sides of the equation, right?
Yes,
that's the key.
Absolutely. So like, while you're learning your craft, and when you started to help out like other entrepreneurs out there in terms of their email deliverability, email copy and stuff like that to increase their performance, what do you see is the common difference between somebody who is on a 6-figure mark, owned an email list, versus a 7-figure mark who owned a list, versus an 8-figure who owned a list? Like, what's the massive difference you actually saw between all of those ranges?
A few things. And I'll talk about it in terms of like the spectrum, like from the front end, what I see on the front end versus the back end. Okay. So paid ads are going to get you a bigger list faster. That's number one. So if somebody's really actively investing in paid ads and scaling that way, then obviously their list is going to grow faster. That's number one. So oftentimes a 6-figure entrepreneur might simply be doing organic, which is completely fine. I mean, you know me, I was organic forever. So, and that's a perfectly good way to build a business. But just typically what I see is, you know, those 8-figure entrepreneurs have really done the work in terms of the paid ads. And so they've grown to that level. And that's that's where they are. So that's number one. Number two, you're going to see a whole lot more personalization, segmentation, leaning into squeezing every bit of ROI out of the back end with an 8-figure business versus a 6-figure business. Like I was talking about before, people get bamboozled by the front end. The front end is sexy. It's TikTok videos. It's, like YouTube ads. It's whatever. It's the latest whiz bang, bada boo, whatever. And so we tend to A, spend a lot of money on the front end, and B, spend a lot of attention on the front end, right? We're always creating, leads. We want leads. Well, guess what your email list is built of? Leads, right?
Yeah.
So you've done the work, you've spent the money, like they're sitting there, they raised their hand, they said they're interested, they probably even bought a low ticket thing from you. So spending an equal amount or hiring someone to spend an equal amount of time obsessing over those leads versus the new and better leads that you think are out there is actually a really valuable endeavor, because these guys know you, they like you, and they trust you. You've already like knocked over that KLT domino with the people on your list, right? So they are your lowest hanging fruit. And I was actually talking to somebody about this today. I see a lot of people out there, they've got DM setters, right? People will come into their Facebook group, and then, you got a DM setter who reaches out. No, hey, how you doing? They ask them a couple of questions, trying to get them to book a sales call. You guys got any email setters? Because we do in my business. We reach out to people one at a time via email, right? Like, imagine if you treated your email list members as individuals and not a monolith.
Yeah.
Imagine if you treated them the same way you treat your group members that come in. It's the same thing, right? There's no reason you can't reach out to them one by one. Do you understand the conversations that engenders when you do that? And conversation leads to conversion, right? So when you really spend the effort and the time and the energy and the focus, and you get creative about the ways in which you engage with the people who've already said, hello, I want your thing, I'm interested, I like you, or whatever it is, like, it's just, it's such a fast path to cash. So
Yeah.
I see that businesses who take their back end seriously, I mean, those are those 8-figure businesses, right? Because they understand oftentimes they're breaking even, or they're going into the red to acquire that customer, because they understand the lifetime value of the lead and the customer. And all of that value happens on the back end, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big difference.
That's a great insight, because in your case, as you're mentioning, a lot of people out there who, especially who are on the 6-figure mark, take these data points like for granted. They're just there. They're just not like leveraging it at all. It's like, the first one that was there and left alone for no reason, and you're going for the next one. So yeah, like that part is making a lot of sense, especially when you compare it to an 8-figure who's like, okay, what are those people who are left? How we can like make things customized for them so they feel like, we're talking to them. Wow, that's really amazing. But the follow-up question alongside that would be, is the another concern that most people have is like deliverability. They're like, our emails are not getting there. We're trying everything. In one of our previous interviews, like we had like Toy Rickson on our podcast as well, and we had this amazing conversation with him. But I want to know your thoughts and inputs about like, hey, what are the ways like people focus on in general to maximize their efforts on like email deliverability, that it ends up? Because I think the biggest concern of all the email marketers like have to be in their inbox, not promotions, not spam, inbox. What do you think?
Listen, I agree. In essence, your email has a few jobs, right? If you think about it, the number one job that it has is to land in your prospect's inbox.
Yeah.
Without inboxing, you're dead in the water. You're done. If you're in the spam folder, like pack it home, like bye. Just toss your domain, get a new one. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? No, not really, but it's bad. I mean, it means that the health of your domain is degraded to a degree that it will require some rehabilitation to get it back to, where you want it. If you're in the promo tab, they're actually one of the products that one of my sort of lead products is something we call the promo to primary tab deliverability code. And it is a code that is similar to Troy Erickson's code. He's got an anti-promo tab code, and I actually invested with him for the resale right to that code. But I have taken that code and I've added some additional elements to it that also increase deliverability that I've picked up along the way from different mentors. So it's a customized, expanded version of that code, if you will. But essentially, if you're stuck in the promo tab, right, which is sort of this purgatory between the inbox and spam, right?
Yeah.
If you keep landing in the promo tab, you run the risk of, Google saying, all right, nobody wants to hear from this person, going to spam, right? So you're on that slippery slope. But if you'd like to get out of the promo tab, a couple of things you can do. Number one, you need to be monitoring your domain health. So you need to sign up with postmaster.google.com, and it's going to give you an idea how many spam complaints, how many, bounces and all kinds of different things that are going on with your domain, so that you can monitor, okay, am I looking good, or am I like skirting the edge here? That's number one. You can't manage what's not measured. So you have to measure it. That's number one. Number two, you can do things like, there's sort of like kind of the free way and the paid way. So the free way would be, I have 8 burner email addresses, and these burner email addresses, literally all I do with these email addresses is opt in either to my own list or to other people's lists to monitor, where are they landing? Am I landing in the promo? Am I landing in the inbox? Are they landing in the promo? Are they landing in the inbox, right? I'm opted into all my clients' lists because I need to know where my clients' emails are landing, right? So that we can make sure to prevent any issues. So you can do that for your own list and monitor. Here's the kicker. In your burner addresses, in your burner or accounts, do not engage with your own emails, please, because that changes the behavior of subsequent emails, right? One of the signals you give to Gmail, like, hey, I really like this person, send them into my inbox, is by opening their emails. So do not engage with any emails in your burner accounts. Just observe. These are your observation accounts so that you can organically see, where are these emails landing, right? If I'm 80% in the promo tab and only 20% in the inbox, I've got a relatively widespread problem, right? I got a pretty big problem, especially if that means 80% in one box, but 80% in 6 of my 8 boxes. I'm in trouble, right? That's pretty widespread. So that's the free way, right? And that can take a little bit of time to set that up and do that monitoring. Or you can go to a service like Glock Apps, Glock, like GLOCK apps, apps.com. And they have I think it's like $59 a month. I have a paid subscription to that. So I'm happy to test anybody's email deliverability. If you reach out to me, I'll test it for free on my account. You don't have to pay the $59, just reach out to me. But with them, you could run a very comprehensive email deliverability test. There's like 70 emails. They provide you with test emails, and you just go into your ESP, like, Aweber, Klaviyo, whatever it is, and start blasting out emails to these test address, and immediately you're going to see, where are you landing? Are you landing in spam? Are you landing in promo? Are you landing in inbox? This is actually the testing that I do with folks when they come to us for, hey, I want to get your promo to primary tab. Okay, let's first establish that you have a promo tab problem. And this is how we do it. We run a test with Glock Apps. And if you do have a promo tab problem, we discuss, okay, tell me about your value ladder. What are the products you're selling? What's your highest price product, et cetera. And so we run them through a little revenue calculator, and we show them just how much money they're actually bleeding to the promo tab. It can, I've seen it where we had one guy come to us. It was like $37.97. He was losing a day, not a month, a day, $3,797 a day, right?
Oh, wow.
And like, how do I know that? Because when we fixed it, that's the amount by which his revenue rate, like over a month, like that was the average daily revenue that he increased, right? With our code. So it can be a substantial amount of money. I think that's close to $120,000 or something. My math may not be that great, but per month that he was losing to the promo tab, because you're looking at open rates that are on the low side 25% higher in the primary tab, and on the high side at least 50, sometimes percent higher open rates in the primary tab versus the promo tab. So it's a big deal. But run your tests, monitor, And then when you find that you've got an issue, something like Glock apps will tell you exactly what to do. Oh, hey, your IPs, you got a shared IP and it's on a blacklist. All right, or a block list, like get it off the block list, right? You can make a removal requests. It says, oh, hey, you got way too many links in your email. Okay, cool. Reduce the number of links. You got way too many images, or your images are too big. Cool. Reduce the size of your images or remove them, right? And so it gives you very actionable ideas. And that again, that's one of the things we do for folks is go, hey, here's why your emails are landing in the promo tab. Yeah. You're like breaking all the rules. What are you doing? Right. Or, hey, you've got like 97 spam words in your email. Maybe you want to chill, right? Like things like that. So, there are a ton of actionable things you can do, both to get current emails out and to prevent yourself, as well as just get a better understanding of the general health of your email sending domain. And you can rehabilitate it over time. You can send only to the most, active segments of your list, right? If somebody hasn't opened your emails in, 60, 90, 180 days, like stop blasting them, right? Like it's killing your deliverability. You can do things like cleaning your list, right? I would suggest every 90 days, clean your list. Some ESPs have list cleaning functionality built in. Others do not. It's very simple. You download a CSV, go to like Never Bounce or X-Verify. There's a couple of them. Upload the list. It'll immediately tell you which emails are dead, and that happens. Emails go bad over time. People just drop an inbox or whatever. They become spam traps. So you just get rid of those. Take that new list, re-upload it. Good to go, right? So you want to be actively caring about the health of your email list. Otherwise, you will see a degradation over time. It's like the second law of thermodynamics. It's like entropy, right? Or something, we just like everything tends towards chaos. An email list is no different. So you have to actively create,
yeah,
right?
that's great. I mean, you've mentioned a lot of like helpful tips and tricks for people in order to go and like do these things if they want to do it by themselves. But for some, they're like, hey, we are not that techy enough for us to do it. So if people are willing to learn, like, hey, how they can learn from you, or how they can work from you, where they can go and like hit you up, or where they can like sign up and learn more about that.
You can come check us out. So there's two things. I want to give your people something. So I set up a little website. It's FAQS, like frequently asked questions, FAQS email.com. So frequently asked questions, email.com, FAQS email.com. There, I've created a big document, and I want to pay homage to Troy Erickson. He's the one who came up with this idea of like just giving away a whole bunch of knowledge. And so I modeled my document on one of his documents that's very similar to this. And I send him a lot of traffic through this document as an homage. I'm like, go get email copywriting from the best in the biz. So I'm like singing his praises throughout this document. But I did get the concept for it. But yeah, it's a document that really, where I just sat down and just poured the contents of my brain, in addition to modeled a lot of what is just good common practice and common knowledge out there. And people can really learn. They can get a better understanding on both copy, deliverability, subject lines, I mean, just all kinds of different, how to come up with endless email ideas, right? Just really become a better email marketer. So that's one thing I want to just as a gift. And then number two is, if you do think you have a deliverability problem, like if you're like, my open rates are starting to tank, right? And like, what's a good open rate? Typically, you want to have over 25%, right? Like right now, my clients all right now are in the 40s and 50s. Like that's where we aim to be. But for larger lists, over 25%. If you are averaging 20% or below, you're skating the line. You're skating the line big time, and you're courting disaster. And so I would very emphatically say, you might want to get in touch, and we can definitely help you, and help you pretty quickly. So come on over to inboxintervention.com, inbox intervention, right? And what we'll do is you just book a call. It's totally free. We will, like I said, we'll run that deliverability audit for you. It's very comprehensive. We will give you super pointed tactical feedback of things you can do to improve your email marketing immediately, improve your domain health, your IP health, all those different things. And some of that, with the IPs, if it's a shared IP, there's only so much you can do, right? Obviously, you can run your own email servers. That is a thing. It's a little bit harder, but if you want to do it, bare metal email, baremetalemail.com, great guys to run your own email service. I'll just give them a shout. But we'll give you a whole bunch of tactical advice on exactly how to solve your problem. If we are also going to run you through a calculator that shows you exactly how much you're losing per month, right, to the promo tab. And if the amount that you are losing every single month based on, your unique value ladder and what you're selling happens to be more than what we charge for our promo to primary tab code, we will make you an offer for that code. Because in essence, we charge you one time for the code and you get to use it forever and ever and ever, and forever and ever and ever, it will guarantee that you land in the inbox with over 90% of your emails, right? So
Yeah.
If you're taking your back-end email sales seriously, then it's a no-brainer. I mean, I've had folks, like I said, that guy, I think it was 120,000 or 118,000 he was losing. And, when you kind of do the math for people and they get it, then they see your fee and they're like, well, duh, let's go, like, hurry up. Get started. I want my code, right? So it's kind of a no-brainer because it's not rocket science. It's just math, right? It's very basic math. So yeah, we're happy to help anybody who's got a promo tab problem. And like I said, if you don't know and you just want to find out, that's cool too. Just like hit us up and we'll run this test for you and we'll let you know, right, if you have it or not.
Awesome. That's really amazing. So I will post up all of the links and in the show notes, also in the comment section down below. So you can also check those websites as well. It also can follow Alex. And if you have any question or if you want to be like, hey, I want to get those email deliverability done from promotion to primary done. So you can also reach out to Alex. Well, Alex, first of all, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a blast.
You're so welcome. And it's so much fun hanging out with you, and congrats on the success of the show 4 years later. What a joy it is to watch you just shine. It's beautiful.
Really appreciate it. Any last thing you want to say before we round the show up?
I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And thanks for, I'll tell you, I was your first 4 years ago. You are my first now, after having come back to social media, after having kind of, left my 18-month social media sabbatical. It's funny because when I came back, I said to my wife rather naively, I said, I don't know. I don't want to do any like social media stuff. I don't want to do any podcasts. Blah. I was just kind of like, I was really enjoying the quiet and like the solitude and the silence that we had been through. And the minute you reached out, I was like, there is no way I can say no to him. There's no way. And so I want to thank you for being my first, coming back, and for showing me how painless it is. And this has been a really enjoyable experience. So thank you.
Really appreciate it. Like, definitely an honor. So yeah, guys, thank you so much. We had Alex Elliot on our show today out there, and we're definitely going to see you guys with an amazing guest next week. Until then, peace out. Bye-bye.